Hello super friends and welcome to DC TV Talk. This is the show where we talk all things Supergirl, The Flash, Legends of Tomorrow, Arrow and Black Lightning. And in today's video we're going to be discussing all the finale dates that have now been revealed for all of the DC TV / Arrowverse shows. And we're going to go through all one by one, letting you guys know which day is going to be the day that all the finales for our favourite shows are going to go on and which days they are ultimately going to end. It's a very sad video but also a very informative video, so let's jump into it. So we are now storming into the final few episodes of all the seasons of our favourite shows, besides Supergirl, which has still got a bit to go obviously, but we'll get to that. All the shows are coming to their conclusions for this season, and it is very sad to see that happen, but again, this is something we all need to know about, and something that's going to be great for you guys to know, and also for me to know, in terms of the video content you'll be getting from me and other DC TV YouTubers out there. But let's jump straight into it. So let's start with Legends of Tomorrow. Legends of Tomorrow, of course, being the shorter of all the shows, is the one to finish first, and that is going to be finishing on April the 9th, which you may look at the date, that's very, very soon, and that's because Legends has only got, I believe, 3 episodes to go, maybe 2, and that is very sad. Legends has been so good this season, but obviously, I'll do my full Legends of Tomorrow Season 3 review when the season does finally conclude on April the 9th. Now, what's interesting is when it does finish on April the 9th, the week after that is April the 16th, and that is when Supergirl comes back. So Supergirl will be returning the week after Legends finishes in Legends time slot. So obviously Legends took over from Supergirl, so then when Legends ends, Supergirl will take its spot back. So that's what's going to happen there. So Legends will finish on April the 9th, and then the next Monday will be April the 16th, which is when Supergirl comes back. So that is Legends of Tomorrow, and then Supergirl is kind of in the wind at the moment. We then have Arrow, which is actually going to be finishing a week before The Flash, which is very interesting. Normally these shows like to finish up around the same time, but they're all kind of spread out this year, which is slightly annoying, but what can you do? Arrow, of course, comes back this week, which is awesome, with episode 16, Doppelganger, or the Thanatos Guild, sorry, Doppelganger was 15. But Arrow Season 6 will be concluding on May the 17th, which is that is a very similar time to when it ended last season, because Arrow has pretty much been on track. It hasn't really had that many breaks. It's had a couple of breaks, like obviously we've just come back from a 2-week break, and we have been told that from here on out there are going to be no more breaks for Arrow. That's it now. So Arrow will be May the 17th, and that is when we'll see Arrow Season 6 conclude and that whole story wrap up. And we'll hopefully see some awesome setup for Season 7, because like I feel Season 7 is going to be most likely the final season of Arrow, so hopefully we'll see some really cool stuff happen in the back half of this season, and that will all come together on May the 17th. And then we also have Black Lightning, which will be finishing on April the 17th, so that is the week after Legends finishes and the week Supergirl comes back. So Black Lightning, although it's not technically in the Arrowverse, even though I reckon it is, I mean we've had references to Supergirl and Vixen now, so I feel like it is there, but obviously Black Lightning, I'm going to include it anyway. It is going to be finishing on April the 17th, which is, like I said, the week after Legends. So we have Legends finishing 1 week, and then Black Lightning finishes the next week. Black Lightning has obviously been very consistent. I think Black Lightning's been very, very strong, so obviously that will come to fruition, and we'll hopefully see some setup for Season 2, if Season 2 gets greenlit, which it obviously will. So that's awesome. So Black Lightning, April the 17th. And then we have The Flash, which will finish a week after Arrow, which is May the 22nd. And then that'll be all the Arrowverse shows concluded, except for Supergirl, obviously. But The Flash will be May the 22nd. Obviously, Flash has been very up and down this season. It's probably my least favourite of the shows this season, but I still am very excited to see how they wrap up the fight and how they actually take down DeVoe. I think that's going to be very interesting. But The Flash, in terms of its finishing like later than Arrow, is very interesting, because normally ever since Arrow and Flash have really ever been on together, they have always ran exactly side by side, and they've always taken pretty much the same amount of time and off in terms of breaks. Even if they don't have the exact same breaks at the exact same time, they always want to catch up with each other, so they finish together. Because if you remember back to like Arrow Season 3, Flash Season 1, they were kind of out of sync slightly, but then they came back together, so they had that amazing episode in episode 22 of The Flash Season 1 where Oliver was in it, and then they also had Firestorm against Reverse Flash. They always like to keep Flash and Arrow pretty much on the same level. So it's interesting that they are making Flash finish a week after Arrow, but I think Flash doesn't come back this week as far as I'm aware. I think Flash is next week, although I could be wrong there. So Flash may be back next week, and then I know Arrow's definitely back this week, and then I think Flash is either next week or the week after. So yeah, I think it is interesting that they're making Flash finish slightly later, but hey ho, what can I do? And then of course there is Supergirl, which Supergirl is, we don't actually know when Supergirl is coming to an end. Supergirl will be coming back on on April the 16th, or May the 16th, sorry. I keep forgetting what day we're on. All these dates are really confusing. But it will be coming back on May the 16th, which, again, that's the week after Legends ends. And then we'll see the rest of that season play out, probably with no more breaks, which you can kind of predict that it'll be finishing around June, maybe late May, early June. That's when Supergirl will be coming to an end. So that's interesting. But hey-ho, I mean, I think Supergirl has been very strong this season, although the last few episodes maybe not so much. I think it's interesting to see where Supergirl's going to go, especially because Supergirl... I think this begs a lot of questions for Supergirl in terms of when is it going to start again? Because obviously, will it start in October? That'd be quite a quick turnaround if it did, and that does worry me. Or is this warning signs that Supergirl perhaps won't get renewed next season? Because it hasn't actually been renewed yet, and even though I do have good faith that it will, I think it will get a season 4. It's just, it is a bit worrying when all the shows are meant to start filming again around that time for their next season. So it'd be really interesting if Supergirl's just wrapping up. So yeah, we don't know when Supergirl is going to be wrapping up. I reckon around late May, early June. But then that does beg a few questions about Supergirl's future. So what do you guys think about all these finale dates? Do you think it's interesting that they're all separated and all kind of dispersed, just all around the place? Because I think that's very weird and very interesting. Obviously, Legends was always going to finish first because it is a shorter season, so that's fine. But and also Black Lightning as well. But then also Flash, Arrow, and Supergirl have always finished on the same week. Especially like last season when they were all on the CW and they all finished on the exact same week. And I remember that week because it was a week during my school exams, so I remember that very, very well. And I remember waking up very early on a morning of an exam so I could watch the Arrow finale. No shame whatsoever. But anyway, tell what you guys think about all these finale dates in the comment section down below. So thank you guys for watching this episode of DC TV Talk. If you enjoyed it, please give it a like, it'll help me out a lot, and share this video with anyone and everyone you know who loves DC TV and get them to join the community. And as always guys, please subscribe for all of your latest content on Supergirl, The Flash, Legends of Tomorrow, Arrow, and Black Lightning. And with all that said, before I close off the video, I would like to mention that I have going to be starting my new Q&A series, like I mentioned in my last video. I put it up on Twitter, so if you want to go over to my Twitter, you can see it in the left-hand corner or the right-hand corner of my video. Just follow the link there to Twitter, and you can go put in your questions about anything to do with DC TV or the Arrowverse. Just stick them in that Twitter post, or you can even stick them in this video if you like. Preferably go over to the Twitter, and then we can sort of all sort that out there. And hopefully that video will be up next week at some point. So I hope to see you guys again in my next video.